If you could spend a moment with some remarkable people and discover what their life sounds like, what would you ask? Welcome to Are We On Air? An audio encounter. I'm Armand Nafei, and each episode will feature one conversation with an inspiring friend of mine who will share with us the soundtrack to their life. Welcome back to another episode of Are We On Air? This week's guest played a very big role in my life and career without us even knowing each other. Growing up in Cologne, Germany, I always heard about this man, this enigma that came into town to buy records at Compact and was the musical master behind iconic fashion brands such as Chanel, Fendi or the Parisian concept store Colette. His name is MICHEL GAUBERT. I was always naturally drawn to this thing called sound design and fascinated with the art of DJing. And through Michel, I had found a role model. It wasn't until years later that we actually met for the very first time in New York City when I was the music director for the Standard Hotels. And we've been friends ever since. Most recently, I was interviewed for an article in Business of Fashion alongside Michel. And for me, that was the greatest honor. Life can be funny sometimes. I hope you'll enjoy it. So welcome to another episode of Are We On Air? For this week, I have a very special guest, one of my greatest inspirations and idols in what I do.
Oh my God.
He's a sound designer, a DJ, and I guess a social media icon by now.
Maybe, I don't know. All of this you're telling me.
His name is Michel Gaubert. Welcome, Michel.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
To begin with, I'm trying to paint a picture of who you are, but through a couple of songs. And to begin with, what's your earliest significant musical memory that shaped you as an artist?
I have lots of early memories because my parents listened to music, so I remember Serge Gainsbourg, of course, because my parents was listening to that. My father was into Sarah Vaughan, so I remember, hearing Sarah Vaughan. Then my grandparents were more into French, what we call variété, which was not really my thing. And I guess I was hearing what was playing around me a lot. But what was very significant for me was David Bowie. David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust is the album that probably started everything for me. Because I liked everything about it. I thought the music was great. I thought the words were great. I thought the aesthetics were just amazing. And it's a record that made me decide to learn English or speak better English than I used to.
Do you have a favorite track from that record?
I like Rock and Roll Suicide because it's not the obvious one. It's the closing song of the record, and I don't think a lot of people associate it with Ziggy Stardust. So I like that one.
Time takes a cigarette, puts it in your mouth, pull on your finger, then another finger, then your cigarette. Well, the wall-to-wall is calling, it lingers, but still you forget. Oh, you're a rock and roll suicide. You're too young to lose it, but you're too old to lose it. And the clock waits so patiently on your song. Well, you walk past the cafe that you can't eat when you've lived too long. Oh, you're a rock and roll suicide. Now the ship breaks the snarling.
Yeah, I love Rock and Roll Suicide. Also has a personal connection. I don't know if you remember Errol Alkan at Trash. Every Monday he would close his sets with Rock and Roll Suicide. So it was always a moment after a crazy night how he ended it with this, and everybody was looking forward to Rock and Roll Suicide, and everybody knew this is the end of the night now.
Oh, that's cool.
Beautiful way. So, yeah. What are you currently listening to now that you're stuck in quarantine that keeps you going?
I'm listening to a lot of stuff. I mean, it's quite diverse, but today I was listening to Amnesia Scanner, which I like. There's also this new record by R&B girl. I don't want to pronounce her name badly. I think her name is Kelia, not to be confused with Kelela. And it's called Forever You Girl, which I found very interesting. So I've been listening to that for the past 3 days. There's a song called Heavenly, which is spelled HVNLI, to make things easier, and it's quite cool.
Well, you're the quintessential sound designer, and you've been in the business for, I guess, more than 30 years, and pretty much work with every major fashion label that there is. Do you create audio mood boards for each show?
Yeah, of course. I mean, like I do, accordingly to what I'm being asked, like depending on the vibe and stuff like that. I mean, or the mood of what people want. Then I read it my way and I create mood boards for everyone. Sure, of course. And also, like each season, I do a folder of my favorites, of all the new music that came out, and when there's a good one, I match it to the mood board I'm working on.
Another great work of yours are the early Colette compilations, the famous concept store in Paris that unfortunately closed, I think, 2 years ago. That also influenced me very heavily and introduced me to your work. What was the original idea behind it, and what was the approach?
The original idea was like to make music accessible to, because like 20 years ago, before iTunes Music Store and before that, this whole democratization on the net, it was quite hard to get stuff, and I was buying music, and I have all my channels where I was finding things. So the deal was to make music available to a wider range of people, because a lot of times I was working on shows and like people, oh my God, that was so good. Where can you get this? Where did you get this? And like, well, that's what it is, but people wouldn't know how to get it. So it was a creation of like, what we liked, what we thought was good for the time. And it worked. I mean, like, there's one of them that sold like, I think over like 25,000 copies, which is amazing, for a compilation, because there's like some, like I told you, like there's some other big name compilation that wouldn't sell as much. I was always surprised.
Hello, my darling James.
Hello, James. It's Michel speaking. I just got a message from Marie that told me that you might be able to give me the mix tonight. I'm leaving the hotel tomorrow morning, Friday, at 6 a.m. So if you could drop it, at the reception, that would be great. And I'm leaving you my phone number in case. The cell number is 264-225-2525. Yeah, right here. It's fine. So please let me know what's going on. I'm sorry to put any pressure on you, because, I know what it can be, but all the best. Bye-bye.
James, call me, you bad person.
Message saved. There are no more messages.
What's your favorite French chanson?
My favorite French chanson, God, I have too many of them, but I mean, I love Gainsbourg, obviously. I wouldn't say I have a favorite French chanson, but whenever I listen to his music and his lyrics, I mean, I think that the man was truly a genius, you know, so... But like a genius, like you don't encounter very often, whether being French or any other nationality. I think in general he was truly a genius. But I loved his music. I loved his wording, and I also like when he made people sing like Isabella Gianni and Jane Birkin, and like the words he would come up with for them was, you know, was brilliant.
Do you have a favorite Gainsbourg record?
I love Melody Nelson, of course.
Ça, c'est l'histoire de Melody Nelson. Qu'à part moi-même, personne n'a jamais pris dans ses bras. Ça vous étonne, mais c'est comme ça. Elle avait de l'amour pour vous. Melody Nelson.
Another poet of a different field was Karl Lagerfeld, that you were very close friends with and worked with, I guess, also over 30 years at Chanel and at Fendi. How many iPods did he own? And did he have a favorite record?
Oh my God, Carl had like many iPods. I mean, like I don't know if I told you that story before, but like, you know, he had so many iPods that when he discovered the practicality of an iPod, he asked me to, can you put all my classical music on iPods? It's going to be so much better because I have so many, you know. I said, sure, you know. Can I send them over to your place? And I said, sure. And one day the door rang, and like there was a little truck outside my door, and I had like at least like 45 cases of classical CDs, and I had like we hired an assistant to digitize his music. It lasted quite a long time because in those days computers were not as quick as now.
That's amazing. Did he have a favorite song or record that you remember?
Yes, he had a song he called, for whatever reason, Carl was very fond of Latin rhythms and South American music. And there was a song called La Paloma, which is like his favorite ever and ever and ever again.
Did he tell you why?
Yeah, he told me because it was when he was in Hamburg, you know, like in Germany. Supposedly it was a story of when the sailors were leaving, you know, like that's the song they were singing and their wives were listening to. So when we did the show in Hamburg like 3 years ago, we had a live orchestra, and the beginning of the show was La Paloma, and during rehearsal he made us play it like 7 times. More.
What's your go-to falling in love or heartbreak song?
Oh God, I don't know. I like Don't Make Me Over. I like Walk On By. I like all the Burt Bacharach songs with Diane Warwick. I love all that kind of things. You know, I like that. I like Diana Ross also. Like all those. I like all these 60s kind of love songs because I find them very, very fresh and not so naive, but very fresh and quite positive, but sometimes they're so dark. You know? You left me for another woman, how can I live? You know, all that kind of things. So then again, I don't have one favorite song, but I have a lot of them.
Could you choose one? Doesn't have to be the ultimate favorite one.
I would choose Love Hangover.
I got the sweetest hangover. Sweetest hangover. Yeah. I don't wanna get over. I don't wanna get over.
Well, your life is a movie. What song plays in the end credits to leave your audience with?
I like the it's a Franz Waxman track called I think it's themed from a summer place, I think. Because I liked it because it was used in a movie TV program in France in the 80s, and they would play that song all the time, and it was like the epitome of glamour, and it feels grand, it feels like, you know, beautiful.
That's a perfect way to wrap up our little chat.
Okay, perfect.
Merci Michel.
De rien.
C'était génial.
Eh ben, tant mieux, merci. J'arrête.
For this episode's playlist, visit areweonair.com, where you'll be able to enjoy the full playlist mentioned in this conversation.